So the other day I was on an auction and I won a bunch of different items that for really cheap actually for woodworking stuff. And something cool that I got, which I thought I'd share with you guys, is this. This is an original Irwin #1 auger bit, expansive auger bit. Original in the box. I don't know if this thing's been used more than maybe once. I don't even know if it's been used at all, to be honest. And if you can see on the back, I don't know if somebody bought it at one point or not. Right here, this thing was marked for $2.24. So maybe somebody bought this off a hardware store at some point, or maybe it was in a garage sale or something. I'm not sure, but the box is in really good shape. It looks like it's had a little bit of piece of tape at some point over the front that somebody ripped off. And it ripped it up a little bit, but other than that, the original label on the end is still there. The box is in really, really good shape. A couple of the corners are dinged up, but everything's there and visible. That is really, really cool. What is an Irwin expansive auger bit, you might be asking? Let me show you. Like I said, this is the box. If we take the lid off, you see there, right? Pretty cool. I love old cardboard boxes like this that these tools came in, especially when somebody has recognized how special this type of tool is and has kept good care of it over the years. So inside the box, you've got your auger, right? This is the #1 Irwin expansive auger bit. So how this works is just like any other auger bit. You've got your feed in the front that digs into the wood, to screw into the front, and it pulls the bit into the wood as you rotate it. Now the cool part here is right here. So if you can see right here, there's a little notch, a little mark in the actual base of the auger bit. That is designed to line up with these marks here, where you can bore holes from maybe 1 inch up to 1.5 inches. What you do is you loosen up this screw here, and then this plate, this blade here, allows you to expand it from 1 inch hole up to 1.5 inches. So this part right here, if you can see that right there, that scores the wood and creates a nice round clean hole or wall as we cut. And then this here comes through, this side here comes through and actually cuts the wood. On top of that, the auger bit inside here also grabs wood, cuts into it, and clears out your shavings. If you don't want to bore a hole 1 inch to 1.5 inches, they give you this other cutter inside where you can replace it, and this goes from 3/4 inch to 1 inch. So you can bore anything from 5/8, which is the standard just size of the regular auger bit on its own, up to 1.5 inches with the combination of these two blades and this auger bit. So I've seen these in other videos in the past, and I've always kind of wanted one. I thought they were kind of cool. They're definitely unique, right? It's a little bit different than your traditional auger bit. So if we take a look at our box of Craftsman auger bits, right? Again, nice. Remember the box. I got a thing for boxes, man. These guys took care of their stuff. So this is a traditional auger bit. It has the fluting to pull chips away, and on the end, you'll see there's that screw that digs and pulls the bit into the wood. And then you can see on the sides there, those are the two fins that kind of score the wood. And then this here is the actual blade that cuts the wood. So I think now we should give this a little test run. Let's get a piece of wood, get this mounted up into a brace, and cut a hole. All right, so I've got our just traditional bit loaded up in a brace, and we're gonna drill a hole, or bore a hole, right in this piece of pine. So you can see I'm not putting any pressure. I've just got it leaned up against my stomach, and as I rotate, you can see it's boring into the wood. That screw in the front's pulling it into the wood, and the cutters are cutting the wood and drawing those shavings out of the hole. Now as I break through to the other side here, normally you would want to drill the hole through until you just saw the screw popping through the other side, and then come around through the other side to avoid any tear out. But that is how we traditionally bore a fairly large hole fairly quickly with no real effort through a piece of wood. Now let's try it with the expansive bit. Okay, so I've got our expansive bit loaded up in the brace, and I've got it set to bore a 1-inch hole. Let's check this out. Alright, so again, no real pressure. The screw's just pulling itself into the wood and drawing that forward. So there's that first little bit of scoring. And then as we rotate, it's hard to do this with the camera. Then as we rotate, you see we're starting to take those cuts. It's cutting in pretty well. Actually cutting really well. I'm not really causing any effort. I'm going a little bit slower just for the camera, but it's cutting pretty clean actually. I'm actually really impressed with this. This is kind of more of that paddle style, but it's working really well. So it dug all the way down, but it stopped cutting as the worm, I guess on the end, stopped feeding and pulling it into it. That's actually, I don't know that I hate that. I think I actually like that. Let's double check. So if I put that in, unscrewing, it's not pulling itself anymore because that screw is bottomed out, but it hasn't blown through the back. So you see right there, there's the hole we bored. On the back, you can see it's still nice and clean. There's the screw that came out and it stopped feeding. That actually like that a lot. So this one here, you can see it came all the way through and there's a little bit of tear out here. So this allows you to get to the end, flip it around, and then use that hole to put your screw back in and finish your cut from the other side. So check that out. That is a 1-inch hole bored through a piece of pine pretty effortlessly and fairly clean. Still got a little bit of tear out here, but not terrible. I think that was my own fault. The bit got a little bit loose in the brace. I didn't tighten it down enough, but I'm pretty impressed with that. I think that cut pretty well. Yeah, I'm really impressed with this. I think this is really cool. The Irwin No. 1 Expansive Auger Bit. It's pretty cool. I think it's definitely earned its place in my collection of old tools and stuff and traditional woodworking tools. I think this is really a really cool invention, man. I'm glad I was able to pick this up. I actually got it at a really good deal. Original in the box. Look at this. It's even got the original paperwork with it. Like, I love that somebody took the time and the care to really maintain this thing over the years. So this is going in the collection of tools, and maybe you will see it in another woodworking video coming up soon. But that is all for today. If you like this type of woodworking, traditional woodworking content, let me know by subscribing down below if you haven't yet, so you don't miss more cool videos like this, woodworking videos, tool review videos, new and old. All kinds of stuff, gear reviews. Give me a thumbs up, comment on this video, and I will see you on the next one.